Welcome to your 7 C++ tutorials, and today we're treating function. I have a little code, so kindly forgive me. We'll be treating function today, and I want to say thank you for subscribing to my video and hitting the bell icon for more updates. Thank you very much. Okay, so functions are a group of statements that perform a specific task, that come together to perform specific tasks. And in every C++ code, we have functions. Yeah, in every C++ code, we have function, and we have a default function, which is the main function, And my previous video, I said the main function is like a mother. Let's assume it's like a mother, and you can't give birth without a mother. Hope you understand. So it's like every code you want to execute, you need to declare it inside your main function. So we'll be treating function, and we have different types of functions. And the basic types of standard functions are the strings and characters, date and time, the utility, the in and out function. We have many types of function, and you can research on that. So the first one we want to talk about is a void. We have void, and void means you should print something on the screen, but it shouldn't give you anything in return. It's like when we are using int, we just print something and we wait for an answer. Let's say 4 plus 5, and it will give you something in return, an answer in return. But in this function, you should print something, but it shouldn't give you anything in return, the void function. And this is how functions goes. When you are declaring a function, you need to call it before your main function. So we'll be using the void function. Void print message. The print message, I'll give my function name as what? Print message. And it's not compulsory to always type print message. It's because I want you to understand it well. That's why I named my function as print message. You can name it anything you like, depending on what you are doing. You can name it anything you like, depending on what you are doing. So print message, then see out I'm coding. Then your semicolon. So how can I execute my statement? How can I make this statement execute? Because I've declared a function right now, and inside the function we have a statement inside called I'm coding. You see, so how can I make the statement execute? How can I make this statement execute? I need to call my function inside the main function. I need to call the function I named earlier on inside the main function to make the statement execute. So I'll call it here print message, then add the semicolon. So it's like you've given birth and you want to name the child. You need to give the child your surname. That's it. So it's collides with the same thing. So I've named my function as what? Print message. If I want my statement to execute on my console, I need to call this print message inside my main function. I need to call this print message inside my main function. So let's run the code and see. Boom, that's it. I'm coding. So that's how the void function means it should do something, but it shouldn't print anything in return. You see, shouldn't print anything in return. So that's one basic structure of a function. Let's try another example. Assume you want to call your new function under the main function. when you call it inside when you call the new function inside the main function, you see, before I started I said you need to call your function before the main function. The new function you are doing, you need to call it before the main function. But maybe you want to do it after the main function. You want to do it after the main function. So you type void print message cout I'm coding. Now you call your code inside, you call the function inside the main function, the print message function inside the main function, and you run it. You get an error. You see, you get an error, and this is what the error says: print message was not declared in this scope. Now we have something called pointers, and this is how coding runs. It starts from the top to the down. Now it will run like this: include iOS stream. We have include iOS stream. No, include iOS stream is a preprocessor. Now using namespace std, and using namespace std too is what? Standard. The std stands for standard library. Now it will come. Okay, we have int main. Okay, function must have a main function. So coding must have a main function. So we have int main. We have print message a to be like print message. This too is a function. Where from this print message? Okay, now as soon as it returns the 0 for you, it means you should return nothing for you. Your code would then terminate. Then it will give you error because it sees that you've called a function inside your main function, but you've not declared the function anywhere. You see, you've not declared it anywhere, so therefore it will do what? It will terminate for you and it will give you an error. It will give you an error. So how can I do that to avoid this error? I don't want to put my code at the top. I want to put it at the down. But how can I do it to avoid the error? Okay, it's easy. We have something called function prototyping. Function prototyping. And you can do this by copying this code, your void print message at the top with the sum icon. So the code will just read. When it reads from the standard library, the std, it will now be like, okay, you've declared a function here called print message and it's called here, which means that this print message holds a statement. So the code will run. It will check its in the memory, every part. Then now it will say, okay, it has a statement here called what? I'm coding, or executed as a what? I'm coding. So when you run the code, it will work for you. Boom. You feel me? Yeah. So that's how it moves. So we have function prototyping, and function prototyping is when you want to call your function before the main function, after the main function. Sorry, we want to call the function after the main function. You just type you just do your coding here, copy the function, then what? Put it at the top before the main function. But if you want to put everything at the top, like what I did earlier on, you just do it like this. Then you are good to go. So let's continue. A function using additional information, which is the parameters. So parameter are always called in the parentheses. You see, parameters are called in the parentheses. So let me give you an example of a parameter. Assume we want to calculate for two numbers. We want to calculate for two numbers. So we want to add two numbers together. So I'll name my function as what? Int. At this time, this time we need something in return. We need something in return. So we can't use void. We need to use what? Int, which is an integer. So we need to use int. So int addition. My function is addition. So you need to make your function what? Reasonable and readable. Reasonable and readable. So int addition. So I'll type in my parameters. Int a, These are the parameters. And what? Int b. Int a and int b. Then I add my curly braces. So int a and int b. Int a, let's return r. Int r is equal to a plus b. Okay, so this is we've added a parameter to it. So we have int addition, and we have our parameters, which is int a and int b. Then we have int r. Int r is equal to a plus b, which means a plus b is assigned to what? Int r, return r. So it means if you input a number for a and b, it will be added here. Then it will then assign to your r for you and return a r for you. So right now let's continue. And we have what? In z is equal to addition, and the addition stands for what? The function. And we have 5 and 6. So okay, so this is how the code runs. We have int addition, a and b. Our function is what? Addition. And our parameters are what? A and b. And we have int r is equal to a plus b, return r. In z, then z is what? Addition with 5 and 6. Don't forget this addition is what? The function. This addition is what? For the function. So it means the 5 and 6 are for the parameters. A is 5 and b is 6. A is 5 and b is 6. So which means your z is what? Your z is as addition is assigned to what? Z, which means 5 and 6 and the function addition are assigned to z. So when you have 5 and 6, it will run back to the function. It will now be input into your, it will now replace your a and b. So now your a will be what? 5 and your b will be what? 6. You see, your a will be 5 and your b will be what? 6. Then it will plus it for you here. 5 plus 6 will be what? 11. Then the total will be what? Will be your new input, which is the r. Then it will return your r for you, which means your r now holds what? The a plus b. Your r now holds the 8 plus b. Then gives you your total, then output it for you here. Now let me take it again. We have r is what? A plus b. Now we know that if you have a bag and you put your book in, it means this bag holds your book. So this ones are the book and this is the bag. So if you want to get access to the bag, you need to open the zip. And so this is the bag. How can I open how can I get access to the books rather? I need to open a zip. It means I'm going back to the bag. Hope you understand. So now this is A and B, A plus B, and it's R. This means A plus B is assigned to R. Then when A is done, it will just return your R for you, which means it will return the answer for you here. It will return the answer for you here. Now, how can my answer execute? The Z holds the addition, which is the what? The function. 5 and 6. And 5 and 6 is what? A and B. 5 and 6 is what? A and B. So therefore, when it returns for you, it means this function holds everything here, including the return R. Therefore, this addition to the Z holds what? This addition. So the Z holds this addition. So when I see out my Z, it means I'm see out in the total of this addition here, which is also done here. Hope you get me. So we have int R, then what? Int R A plus B. Then we have addition. We have our addition, our parameters replaced here, which is the 5 and 6. So your total will be Z, which means the Z holds your what? Your functions now. So it will execute the total for you, and you are good to go. So when I run the code, you can see your total is what? Your total is 7. Your total is 7. I know this is a little bit hard for you to, difficult for you to understand, but when you move on, when you really move on, you get to know what I'm saying. Just watch this video over and over again, and you get what I'm saying. Okay guys, so this is what we mean by functions. See you in your next tutorials. We'll be treating overloaded function, and I'll be making this one short so that we will get understanding. Please watch this over and over again. Thank you.